Hi, Angela here at Sew Bright Alpine Quilting, and welcome to our weekly update for our Boho Heart Sew Along. So this is week number 3 that we've been going. So we've now finished 21 blocks, and you can see them all here up on the wall. These are the previous 2 weeks. This one here is one that's underway. I'll tell you about that one after. And these are the 7 blocks that we finished this week. And they're looking pretty good. So we did the half square triangle block. So it was basically just 2 fabrics, as you can see. And these are the 8.5 inch blocks. This one was called X Plus. A little bit of a challenge on this one with the lozenges. There wasn't a lot of room to trim back afterwards. The flying geese one was pretty straightforward. You cut your squares, stitch and flip, and then trim off the excess on the back. Join your little units together. There's some step out photos on the Facebook group now. The Ohio Star, the framed Ohio Star, that one's really cute. So these are quarter square triangles. So slightly different to the half square triangle. So you make a half square triangle unit, snip it in half, and then pair it with another half square triangle unit to make the quarter square triangle. So that one was really good. This one is the orange peel. That's almost done. We just need to put the centre in. I was going to show you the centre, if I can find it on the table with all the other things I've got on the table. This one is a smaller Dresden with the centre in the centre. So this is the one that I miscut when we made the 10.5 inch blocks. So I just trimmed it down to 8.5, job done. And this one is the start of the 6.5 inch block. So this is a churn dash block. And now we need to make 3 of them. So we've made 1 last week and we'll make 2 more this week. So I've got some fabrics already cut for those. I'll just get Steve to show you those down here. So we're going to piece together these 2 strips of fabric to make the small squares. This is going to be our middle square, and these are going to be our half square triangles going around the side. So that one's going to look quite graphic, so I'll post a picture of those when we get that one done. And then the other one is going to have this beautiful funky leopard spot, and there's a giant dahlia fabric in it. So that one's going to look pretty cool too. So that's our 2 churn dash blocks for this week. And then we're also going to make 3 grandmother's flower garden with our hexagons. Let me just scroll in here to see if I can see the video. Steve can just focus on that little hexagon over there, and I'll just get the video up so that I can see any comments. Thanks, Steve. It's always helpful to see your comments. Say hello if you're there. Okay. Here we go. Let's turn the sound off. And then we can watch that. I'll be able to see any comments. Okay, so here I've cut out some hexagons. And I've just used my little hexagon template to fussy cut out of the fabric. So I will just come back and I'll pop the fabric down and you can see it a little bit easier. So we have this gorgeous fabric that's got lots of little flower motifs on it. And so you just find the one you want to cut out, draw around with your chalk pencil, and then you can simply just cut that out either with your rotary cutter or I just use my big pair of scissors. And you can see where I've cut mine out from down the bottom there. Lovely Swiss cheese. So hexagons are also an opportunity to do some fussy cutting. So we love fussy cutting. So I'm going to show you an example of fussy cutting on this fabric here. So stripes can be really interesting with hexagons. There's lots of things you can do with them. So for example, we're going to show you this one here. And we have a 1-inch viewer here. These are the Lilibelle Lane viewers, which we sell in a pack. So they come in a pack like this. And they have lots of different pieces in them. So you've got 3 different sizes of hexagons, 2 different sizes of 6-pointed stars, the jewel, which is a half a hexagon, and a triangle joined together, the inverted jewel, and a 5-pointed star for La Passacaglia if you're interested in making that one, which is from Wilna Hammerstein, I think her name is, yeah. So anyway, we use the viewer in conjunction with the fussy cutting mirror, and we place the fussy cutting mirror over the shape, and then that will show us what our hexagons are going to look like before we cut it out. So if we decide, okay, no, I don't like that, I want to move it, and I'll make it slightly different. So just by moving the mirror around the fabric, you can see that? Yeah. So just by, so before we had a stripe of 3, and just by moving that slightly, see how intricate of design we can get from one fabric. So if we keep moving that down the fabric, oh, there's a ruler underneath there that's marking the way, we can start to see lots of different designs that we can get. So maybe we want to go cool fabrics. Look at that one. That one's pretty groovy. So once we get it where we want it to be, so for example, if we're going to have it there, we can, there's 2 things we can do. We can take our little chalk pencil or a wash away pencil and just draw on the inside of the viewer. And that gives us a line to follow. So that shows us the inside line. Then we can come back with our Perspex template, which has the seam allowance on it. And we can do the same thing. We can trace around that to get our shape. Or we can use that as a guide for cutting out with our ruler. So because this is one strip of fabric, what I will probably do with this one is, if I put the ruler up against the fabric, and I'll need to give it a press and a press with the iron and spray it with Best Press first just to firm it up a bit. So what I will do is I will slice on that side and create a strip, and then slice along that side. So then my strip is the height of the hexagon, and then I'll just come along with the rotary cutter and cut it out, because we don't have to worry about which part of the strip we cut out, because it's all the same colour, but we just want to make sure that we get the strip the same height all the way across. Then of course you can, if you want to hand piece, you would mark your stitch intersections with your pencil again, and then you can, once you've cut it out, you can simply hand piece from point to point around in the flower shape. Now this flower will also have a centre, but we'll decide what the centre is going to be afterwards. So I will probably put one of the flowers from this fabric that we showed you just a minute ago in the centre of this one, and I might put the stripe in the centre of that one. And then I'm also thinking of using one of these beautiful floral fabrics for the other hexagon. So then what I would need to do is to take my viewer and see if I can get 6 of the same shape, or otherwise I might just cut it all out of the same colour area. So it'll look slightly different, but all of the colour of the hexagon of the flower will all be the same, and then choose a centre for that one. So as a reminder, Jen Kingwell also has a 1-inch hexagon template, which comes as the postcard project number 6. And you will notice that in the book, it actually says to use a 7/8 inch hexagon paper. But they're really hard to get, and if you're going to cut them yourself, you might not get them accurate. So I figure like 1/8, it's that much different. So that's why I'm going to use the 1-inch ones. So it'll just sit a bit larger on the background. So I'll just use the 1-inch papers, and what I'll do is I'll film a little section after we've finished here, showing you how you can machine piece your hexagons, even if you've got the papers half on, or hand piece them. So I'll do a separate little video for that afterwards. So anyone saying, hello Glennis, how's yours coming along? And anyone else there? No one else has said hello yet. That's okay. And don't forget about the other postcard templates that will also work with this one. So the little 1-inch square that's in the snowball you can use. And postcard number 3 has the 2.5-inch, so the 2-inch finished square. And postcard number 1 has the 1.5-inch square. So that's 1-inch finished. So they're really handy. Other hexagon templates that we also have are the Marty Michelle ones. So they come in a set. There's in the set, there's lots of different shapes. So there's 9 pieces for cutting 11 shapes. So you can get hexagons, diamonds, the jewels, and the triangles all out of the one shape. And these will make 1-inch hexagons and 2-inch hexagons. So that's a handy one. So that's one that I often have in my kit as well. There is our special one that we have with our name on it. As far as backgrounds for these hexagons, I'm going to see what they look like on some of these bolder white with black print. So I've got 3 that I've selected here. So once I've made the hexagon flowers, I'm just going to audition them on these backgrounds. If they don't work, then we'll choose something else, and I'll, like I said, I'll post some pictures as we go along. So if we have 2 churn dashes, 3 hexagon flowers, and then we will have 2 of the simple framed square. So with that one, I'm just looking at the pattern here. So we're going to cut a larger square. So that'll be a great opportunity to choose something with a big design. So a couple of the fabrics that I have with big designs are this gorgeous flower. So it'll be a great opportunity to fussy cut something for the centre of that one. And there is also this one, this beautiful mandala print. So that would also be great in the centre of those ones. There's, you know, with the caif, there's lots of different big prints. There was one red one that I wanted to use. And my parlour fabric has got all mixed up. It was nice and neat, but the more you use it, the more it gets mixed up. Here it is. So this one here, this is from another one from the newer range. So I'm really looking forward to fussy cutting some of these bigger elements of these bigger prints. So don't forget, if you have any questions, just type them in the comments and we'll get back to you. All of the blocks that you see so far, all 21, should be in the photos. Oh, I was going to tell you about this one. So when I did this little framed one, I don't know if I told you last week. So I cut the Dresden wedge this shape. I didn't read the pattern properly. I cut this one and I pieced 12 pieces together, and then when I went to piece it together in a circle, of course, I ended up with a cone. And I thought, oh, that can't be right. So then I reread the pattern and discovered that I was meant to use this smaller wedge, which worked very well in the end. So there you go. It's what happens when you're in a hurry and you don't read the pattern properly. But nothing that can't be fixed by unpicking. One of the things that we all love to do, don't we? Not. Okay, so happy sewing for this week. I hope you get along with those next 7 blocks. And then, so we're back to the 6.5-inch blocks. So then, the week after that, we'll be doing the owl, square and a square, and the exos. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and another checkerboard, 7. And then we'll just about be on to the 4-inch blocks. So that's nice and exciting. So well, I'm going to have to find another piece of wadding to use for a design wall so that we can have the whole quilt laid out. So pretty soon I'm going to have to start working out where they're going to go, and maybe next week, I think I said next week I would start cutting out some strips, show you some cutting out of the strips for the backgrounds. So we'll work towards that for next week as well. So thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.